everybody. How you doing?
Good.
Are we having fun yet?
Yeah.
Okay, so excited to be here. Thank you, Daniel and Mari, for this great event, and I've met so many amazing people. So I want to ask you, have you ever met someone who's never believed in dreams? That was me. So I'm going to tell you a story. I grew up in a family of Italian immigrants, the oldest of 3 girls, and there was always a lack of money. We were always always struggling for money. And I never believed in dreams. I just worked, started at the age of 16, and worked, and didn't go to college because I went to secretarial school. Wanted to be a lawyer, but I said, I don't want to go to school. I want to go to secretarial school. So what I did was, got to the top, and I got bored. I said, I need to go to college. That time, I had 2 kids. I had a daughter and a son, and I always do things when it's hard. I had a 6-year-old and a 1-year-old, and I decided to go to college on the weekends. And thank God for my mom, so I did it every weekend for 6 years. The best thing was when my daughter wrote a letter to me on the day that I graduated, how proud she was of me. And that was a goal. And one of the things I want to say is that I always grew up with not believing in dreams. I was bullied in 2nd grade, and Michael Butler yesterday, when he was saying, go back to a first memory, I was bullied. His name was Tommy Curran, blonde hair. I still remember like it was yesterday. But it affected me because I never believed in myself. I always thought I was ugly. I didn't feel pretty. And so I went through life not believing in myself. Okay? But then what happened was, I got married at 19 to a man who was a narcissist because I didn't feel pretty, remember? So I married the first guy that believed in me, loved me, said he loved me. And I said, I'm going to marry him just to leave the house because I lived in a very strict, sheltered life. I was a good daughter, good wife, good everything. Didn't take risks. Well, fast forward, I divorced him after 20 years, got my degree, divorced him because I knew I wanted to be a single mom, raising my 2 kids on my own. I didn't want to depend on him. So I divorced, and that was the first time that Tina started to have a voice. Because I spoke up, I rebelled, and it's the first time I spoke up to my parents about all the things that I didn't feel good about. So at 40, getting divorced was the best thing ever. And then I married my second husband 3 years later. He was everything opposite of my ex-husband. He was like a breath of fresh air. Still married to him, 23 years. It'll be on May 5th. But what I did was I got laid off from the corporate world. I was in training and development. So when I got laid off, that was the first time that the carpet got pulled from under me, and I was really scared because I've always been in control. See, I've always made decisions, always moved on for better opportunities. So when I got laid off from the corporate world, I said, now what do I do? So that's when my journey really started, that I really realized that I wanted freedom and flexibility. So what did I do was I started my business. I learned that over 90% of women, because I work with women today primarily, who are unhappy. They're stuck. They have no direction. A lot of us talked about purpose, in our mind. My mindset, I didn't believe in myself. I had a lot of scarcity mindset around money. So I always struggled because I believed that there was never money. Money was hard. Only the rich get richer. Like this word millionaire, it's not even a concept that I was even like, wow, I just really started to think I could be a millionaire. I'm going to be a millionaire. I'm not there yet, but I will be. So then what happened was I went back to a job though. I started my business, but I went back to a job because of fear. We talked about that. Fear holds us back, but we gotta push through fear because things do happen in our life. And I go back to a job. So I'm a recruiter, and I did that for 11 years while building my business part-time. And then I got fired. I've never been fired. So fired because my voice. You see, all my life I never had a voice. And then I started to have a voice when I got divorced. And then I had a voice when I then got fired because I voiced my opinion, because I believed in employees, and they didn't. And so I got fired. It's the best thing ever because God does have a plan. Pushed me out because I wasn't making the decision to quit because I was always making excuses because I didn't believe in myself. So I kept staying in a job that I was miserable, frustrated. I did well, but I just always made excuses. So what happened was I got fired in 2018. So I built my business full time. So I'm happy to say it'll be 5 years this July that I'm a business coach, author of 2 books, so I have 5 books there. Author of 2 books, Freedom, the 7 Steps to Thrive in Life and Business. And then I'm about to share a tragedy that happened to me because of me being fired. A year later, my daughter gets diagnosed with ovarian cancer, 37 years old. Dies in 2020, July 2nd. So, but that was meant to happen because as an entrepreneur, I was able to spend every single dime. Because you see, when you're in the corporate world, they don't give you PTO, time off to take care of your family. I would have had to quit. I was able to build my business full time and taking care of my daughter. I was by her side every single day. I was there with her. Now, get back to having a voice. It was during COVID. My daughter was in the hospital with infections. March 2020, she's in the hospital. No one could see her. Well, guess what? Tina Kadish saw her daughter because I fought, because I voiced my opinion to the hospital, and I got to see her. And I was with her every day, okay? Because I had a voice. Then, fast forward, COVID again. My daughter's again in the hospital, the end of June into July. And the doctors tell me, your daughter's got a couple days to live. I said, no, she doesn't. She's gonna come home. No, she's not. I'll never forget, a resident said to me, cancer's gonna win and your daughter's gonna die. I said, really? Are you God right now? Because you're not God. Only God knows whether she's gonna live or not. Because you see, my mindset was always, she's gonna come home. I'm a fighter. Mama Bear, don't fight with Mama Bear, because Mama Bear is gonna win. So anyway, they wanted me to go home, because remember, it's COVID. So having a meeting with the president of the local hospital, because they didn't want me to stay there, and I said, I'm gonna stay, and I did. And thank God I did, because I was there as my daughter's last day on earth. We watched her favorite TV show. We sat together in the bed, and the next day at 8:30, she passes away. So imagine this, the screen is flatlined, and she died. Everything. So I looked at her and I said, her last words to me was, Mom, I can't breathe. And I said, and she died. And so because I have to control everything, I couldn't surrender. I said, how dare you leave me? She was my friend. And I'm glad I have a son. I'm so grateful. His love is so important to me. He's a great son. I have a husband I'm so grateful. In my second book, From Pain to Peace, a mother's heartbreaking journey through losing a child, it's about having a voice. And let me share what the word voice means. V is expressing your thoughts and opinions, no matter what. Speak your truth, own your power. O is optimism. No matter what, every challenging moment we have in our life, we need to be optimistic. I fought and fought and fought every step of the way. I never gave up. Never. My mindset was not, she was not gonna die. Not on my watch. I is impact. What impact can we make every day? Because my goal is to help as many moms and dads who have lost a child. How can I help them create a legacy? How can I help them cherish those moments with their loved one? The C is courage. Courage, for me, was standing up to the president of the local hospital, and I spoke up and I said, I don't care what you say, my daughter's coming home, and you have no right to tell me about staying with my daughter. And E is empathy. We don't know what challenges we have. Others are always going through another battle. And I've learned that there's so many people right now going through challenges. I've been meeting so many moms and dads that have lost a child. And so I want to make an impact on other people. It's not only about living your purpose, that I help women find their ideal career, but it's how can I help them as they're going through life, and they might lose a child, spouse. You know, Kim lost his spouse, Will lost his son. Others right now have lost someone. And so, what's next? Well, what's next is that I am a professional paid speaker. I will be out there speaking, sharing my story. I'm also going to be a TEDx speaker. I've decided that. I know exactly what I'm going to talk about. It came to me the other day. There is a better path for women to get out of the corporate world. Get the hell out, because it's better out there than being in the corporate world. Because when I got fired, I was at their mercy, and I will not be at the mercy of anybody else, because I want to make my own difference in someone's world. So, I want to ask all of you, are you using your voice? If not, why? Ask yourself why, because we need to use our voice, speak our truth, and own our power. I'm Tina Kadish, and I have a voice.